Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another
Hello,
edition of
hello.
Paranormal Plus with Grizzly and Tracy Inman. How you doing, Tracy? I'm a
Doing
little
great.
bit lagging on my end, so there goes my ball. It is going off. Let me put it into the frame here. Yes, we're already getting activity. Let's play some Hollywood squares here. How you doing there, kind sir?
Doing good, doing good. The square on the bottom, you're caught up pretty good with the voice and everything. The one on the left,
Yeah, it's
little
like I'm lagging, so I'll
yeah,
fix that once we get our guest on.
yeah.
So
No, man. Hey,
I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. For some reason, last show, everyth's been haywire. He said, "What's going on with you?"
nothing much, man. Finally, non-paranormal wise, I sent you the album. Finally got it out. So, a shameless plug. Go to YouTube, check my name out. I got a country music album out, and song on the radio called "I'm Drunk Again." So check it out if you would. Uh, but dang, that's about it. Trying to figure out next.
Hello, Sandro. Welcome to the show there. Hello. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, you can also send stars to support us and me to help to support by helping me do more content. And I'm getting that activity above my head again. And
Yep, I
this has
saw
been
that.
nonstop for there. Crazy Witch, Nigel, how you doing, Mr. Porter? Crazy Witch coming around the corner. And Facebook user, how you doing there? All right, here, Angel with FDL Paranormal and FDL Paranormal there. We're trying to catch up. Kelly, I see you backstage. Hang tight there. Do not go anywhere there. Hello, Mort. So what we got going on there, Tracy?
We got the great Ernie Pack. He's on here today. He's a super great guy. Been involved
Really?
in paranormal for a while. He's all around good guy. So we'll bring him on and let him introduce and talk to us about himself.
All
Hello.
right. Well, welcome there, sir. Welcome to the show. How are you doing? While he's on, I'm going to reboot. Introduce yourself and tell everybody all about yourself there, sir.
All right, we'll do. Well, my name's Ernie Pack, like Tracy said, from Pac-Man Paranormal. Uh, we Pac-Man Paranormal is a team with myself and my wife Denise. I was a tour guide for a long time at Waverly Hills, and actually met Denise at Waverly Hills while she was there for a private overnight, and we were brought together by a spirit. That's a story a lot of folks have heard over and over, but I'm never afraid to tell it again. But and shortly after we got together, we decided to start our own paranormal team, and we did. And wow, we've in a very short period of time, the world has moved really fast for us.
Yeah, man. I see it on there. I see all the people that you get that follow you and that in your all your posts and all that stuff. It's amazing, guys. You know what to me that's a sign of honest person getting what they deserve, right? And then that's awesome that you guys are getting those accolades, for putting in what you put into this. I've only been in it for 4 or 5 years, and like I talked before this, we met at the premiere of Sleepless Unrest in Edwardsville, and it was cool seeing your shirt. Pac-Man. That's catchy as can be, right? It takes us all back to the '80s and all that stuff too.
Right.
And then just talking to you off and on through Facebook and Messenger and stuff. You're a stand-up guy, and you could tell your passion for what you do, especially for Waverly Hills. And I think, and to me personally, that just is a true testament to why you have all these people that are following you and like it.
Well, I appreciate that. We just try to. I see someone saying, "Hey, stud." I'm going to assume that's Denise. It says Facebook user. That's the only person that ever calls me studs. Anyway,
Yeah.
no, we are very serious about telling the true stories of the spirits. I feel like that's our job as paranormal investigators. If we're going to go out there and invade their space, then we need to be their voice. We need to do something in return. And so we try real hard to get to the bottom of why these people are still here wanting to talk to people and what they really went through in life. And I think a lot of folks are, drawn to that because it's not drama. We're not out there yelling demon and, acting
Oh
like
yeah.
everything is crazy. It's paranormal is not scary. It shouldn't be scary anyway.
No, I agree with you 100%. And everybody out there trying to, not everybody, but you see a lot of groups, entertainment purposes is what I call them.
Yeah.
They're just out there trying to, whether they're real or not, they're gonna, if somebody's paying to go to it, they're going to give them some type of entertainment, either if they're getting it or not. And you get a lot of younger, or not younger, but a lot of newer groups that might not necessarily make it better, by using techniques that they should probably season themselves on a little bit more, right?
Yeah. It's that's paranormal entertainment has been great to draw a lot of people into the field, and kind of bring all of us that have been doing this since before that was a fad, bring us out of the dark, even though we're usually working in the dark, kind of bring us out of the dark where we can actually talk about it without looking like we got two heads growing out of our neck or something.
Yeah.
And, but it's done a lot of disservice because the money and the fame or whatever it is that has led people to be phony or overly dramatic about everything has led a lot of younger investigators and the YouTubers, a lot of folks out. Just I'm not going to single out YouTubers because I have a YouTube channel myself,
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a lot of folks out there that think that provoking or taunting and acting like they're scared. This look you see it all the time. That
Yeah.
It's on every YouTube promo just about in the paranormal.
Yeah.
It's really not about that for me. And I don't think, as someone who's been doing this for a long time, I don't think that's how it should be for any of us, really. I mean, I don't think that's what the paranormal should be about at all.
No, I agree. And Chris and I, Grizzly and I, we talk about that a lot on our shows. Newer groups and just like you stated earlier, there's so many people now in the paranormal, which is a positive, but it can also lead to a negative too. I'm starting to see a lot. My personal thing is I start to see a lot of negativity on Facebook. Somebody posted yesterday and it was a bigger name, how people are just leaving the paranormal field because they're not happy. I don't know if that's,
Yeah.
I'd like to know the reason why they're unhappy. A lot of people say, I'm just getting out of it. And then you see them 2 days later, they're right back in it,
Right.
A lot of negativity surrounding the field right now. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, there is. I do get scared. I'm not going to lie. I had a doll ripped out of my hands a few moments ago on another show. It felt like somebody's playing tug of war with me. It scared the living daylights out of me. So it's kind of hard for me to hold my emotions in. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, absolutely.
Totally. I get jump scares. I'm not going to say I don't get jump scares. I mean, I'm kind of well known for letting out a Cherokee battle cry, which they said was me screaming like a girl at Ra's Opera House when the lady in white that the place is famous for happened to appear like right there next to me when I wasn't expecting it. I get jump scares, but as far as being afraid to walk into a location or go down a dark hallway, that kind of thing doesn't frighten me anymore.
Yeah.
It's no different than it is in the daylight or anything like that. It's just a place.
I agree with you. I'm probably kind of the same way as you. If something does startle me, I will jump a little bit, and I will. I'm not going to say necessarily scream, but I you get those feelings when you're in there and you're not alone, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You get that, and that's how you know you're not alone. Is you get that hair on the back of your neck standing up, the goosebumps and everything. That energy, which is what spirits are, is it affects you, and it definitely lets you know that something's going on or something's about to go on.
Now Grizzly he's in his studio right there, and he's got some old dolls in there, and he's got a cat ball that he tapes up pretty good so it doesn't jump off. So you might might see a few things in here tonight. So
You never know.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
I'm in-
actually, they throw them at me, sir. They throw them
That's
at my
awesome.
head, and they throw them at my during my live shows. So
Nice.
that's why I have extra cameras. No, it's not nice. It gets old.
I'm
It
just
gets
trying to get your
old.
attention, man.
They got my attention loud and clear. So
If
yes,
they wanted to hurt you, they'd throw something besides a cat ball. Come on.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Isn't that the truth?
I'm sitting in the murder room of our new home, which is the Real Ditto House Inn, built in 1841. If you Google the Ditto House Inn, you'll see most haunted house in Kentucky.
really,
Denise and I live. So,
so are you guys? You guys? Yeah, you guys probably you guys do let people do investigations there. Then I'm assuming.
no, we just got moved in here a little over a month ago, and we're trying to. We got a 17-year-old son here. You know, this is home.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, you know, now our friends come over like Todd Lee and Eskew, the Black Wolf Paranormal. Just heck, we've had T-Dog here. We've had several people here, and we'll do a little impromptu walk around and you know, maybe go dark and go not lights out and just see what happens for a while. But we don't do any investigations. We run reporters every now and then ourselves. You never know.
Yeah. I try not to do nothing at my house. I really don't. We, like I told Grizzly and some of these people know, we collect old toys,
Mm-hmm.
and 1930s and stuff like that, and other things too. Antiques, and I ask them to leave. Spirits get out. Don't come into my house. Stuff like that. So far, they haven't had anything weird, but I'm not about to fire anything up in here.
You don't want to push the envelope, do you?
Exactly.
I get it.
I don't need that crap. What about you, Grizz?
No, I got 4 more that came in today, and they did a spirit box session, and Virginia came up, and 5 people, I think 5 people in the chat room were in from the state from Virginia. They're like, wouldn't that be funny, Grizzly, if those dolls came from Virginia? And I'm like, what? So I had to look. And guess what? They came from Virginia. So that freaked me out. So, yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So, interesting.
Hey, so tell us about Fort Duffield.
All right. Well, Denise and I have just signed a contract with the city of West Point to start doing private investigations at Fort Duffield, which is a Civil War fort here that for a long time was part of Fort Knox military reserve. And then they turned it over to the city of West Point to use as a park. And it's kind of amazing, really. It's there's a memorial cemetery up there with I believe there's 36 stones in the cemetery, but there was a mass grave up there with 48 bodies in the grave from the Civil War. It's an earthen fort. It's the largest and best preserved earthen fort that's known to be in the country from the Civil War, and it is active. I mean, we've had one private invest. I mean, we just started doing these, and we've only had one group come through for a private investigation so far. We got more booked, but only one group's actually had their night up there, and they had an active night. They were convinced that they had a Bigfoot stalking them near the cemetery.
Oh.
Denise and I were up there with Greg Bakken and Shar Savoy and Kim Savoy, and we are pretty sure that we had a Bigfoot come out of the woods there by the cemetery. We weren't looking for that. We were up there as ghost hunters, and just like our first Bigfoot encounter that we ever had, we were at a cemetery looking for spirit activity, and a dang Bigfoot came out of the woods on us. So it's got a lot of, just a lot of different types of activity up there. It's a beautiful sight. It is, I don't know, it's just really, scenic.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, it's up on top of a hill, secluded in the woods, overlooking the town of West Point, the Ohio River. It's really nice up there.
Well, you got a diehard, avid Bigfoot researcher right here that we're talking to right now, Mr. Grizzly.
You know how many times I've been through West Point, whether it was flooded, OWI, DUI checkpoints, and all that other stuff on the way to Rough River.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I used to live in PRP, so I'm very familiar with West Point.
Yeah, it's a really cool, forgotten town, really. I mean, there is a whole lot of history in this town. I mean, out in front of my house, just next door to my house, there's a historical marker where the fellow John Shields, who was the blacksmith and gunsmith during the Lewis and Clark expedition, he lived there. I mean, 2 doors down, there's more historic markers. There's historic markers all down the street. And a lot of folks just, drive right by West Point and never get off the highway in this town to come back in here and see what's here. This town's really got a lot of cool stuff to see. And I don't know. We're trying to do what we can since we moved down here to help bring a little attention to the town, because it's a really cool place.
No, that's awesome. And then, so let me ask you this: why did you guys decide to? Or did you hear about that place, the Fort Duffield, or did you actually hunt it a couple times? Or
I used to go up there and go walking years ago, because there's some really nice walking trails around there. And I'd always known about Fort Duffield, and I'd heard different stories about people having experiences or thinking it might be haunted, whatever. And then when we found this house and moved down here, it just seemed like a logical thing to ask if they offered investigations. And come to find out, they were offering, and there was a guy that was offering investigations, but they weren't private investigations. You would go up there and basically be on a public ghost hunt with him running it. And so I went to the city and the people that run Fort Duffield, and I said, hey, we can do this better. We can make more money if we open it up for private investigations, maybe have some public events from time to time, but open it up to private investigations and see what happens. And they were all for it. So here we are. We're open 7 days a week. No difference in the price. It's $400 a night for up to 10 people, which is pretty reasonable, I think. And that's a 12-hour investigation from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. So,
no, that's awesome, man. That price is actually right on target, I think. You see, and you've learned this too since COVID. Everything just jacked up, and
oh yeah,
it's hard to find. I always thought that if you're going to go hunt with your group, and we don't charge people to hunt with us with that paranormal unless it's like that. It's $400, and we take 10 people. 6 of us are already in the group, right?
Right.
So we're not really doing a public hunt. We might have somebody's son or daughter come with us, something like that, and we just split the cost evenly amongst each other. But there's some places, as $100 to get in now. It's like,
oh yeah,
2 years ago you were 30.
Yeah.
It's hard to, it's an entertainment thing. I get it, but still, I don't like trying to rip people off in any way, shape, or form. So that's a great price.
Yeah. We did our best to keep the price as low as we could. I mean, if you come, you'll see that the fort's in need of a lot of repairs, and that costs money. I mean, in this city, Chris can tell you, it's not a rich city.
No, it's not.
It's a poor little town, and so there's not a whole lot of money down at City Hall to be shelling out to, rebuild the replica cabins or redo the walkways or anything like that. There's not a lot of money there, so we're doing everything we can to put money back into the fort to try to help save that piece of history. I mean, enough of our history has been destroyed or done away with for various reasons.
No,
and we want to save what we can.
Yeah. Yeah, like Grizzly, we talked a little bit before this. Grizzly's mom worked at the Waverly. Yeah, yeah. Back when he was a kid, he said she used to bubblegum machines and all that. He used to mess around.
Yeah, I used to get bubblegum out of the vending machine, and when she was a child, she used to play in the death tunnel, the body chute. Her dad was a city police officer or local police, and her uncle, which was her dad's brother, flew the helicopter for Jefferson County Police.
Cool.
And he always used to fly the helicopter, land in the backyard in PRP. And they got a picture of it in the Courier Journal because somebody got upset. They kept landing the helicopter in the neighborhood because they always used to land.
His last name wasn't Ford, was it?
McNeil.
McNeil. Okay. All right.
So, yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
So
I only brought that up because I know you're both very familiar with that place, and we don't have to talk about it. The guys don't watch it right now, but you guys are both.
Watch this. How many times you eat at Mike Lenning's?
I've worked at Mike Lennox 3 times.
See?
3 different times. So, yeah. I've eaten there a lot.
Sounds like I'll have to head down that way.
Yeah, Mike Lennox is good. When you come to investigate Fort Duffield, Tracy, stop at Mike Lennox on your way and make sure you get there early because it's crowded and busy on the weekends if you come on a weekend. But it's world famous for fish. I mean, it's a great place.
Yeah. You know, I live up by St. Louis, East Alton, or Alton, Illinois. You know, Alton's got a lot of stuff up here too.
Oh yeah.
You know, but once you've hunted all that, you want to find other places, and it seems like they're all at least 5 hours away. You know, don't get me wrong. I know there's smaller places, but they're all at least 5 hours away. And I work my regular job during the week, you know, and it's just hard on a weekend to get away 5 hours. Yeah. I want to go to the Bell Mansion. I'd love to go there, see Ricky and hang out with him for a little bit. And, you know, that's almost 6 hours away from here. Come to go down and see Grizzly. We've never even met in person, you know, it's just so far away. But I think, I got to make time, you know, once a month or once every couple months to get to those places and start hitting them. We've been doing some private hunts, and it's been probably a month and a half since the last one. And we're talking about doing some more. We need to get out and I might hit you guys up for some locations, maybe, you know, like you're saying, Fort Duffield. If I can talk them all into coming down, we'll head there and get Grizzly to come with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got a public event coming up August 5th. That's $50 a person, and we've got the one and only Squatch Man, Greg Yost, who's going to be there. Todd Leanne SQ
from Southern Indiana.
Yes, sir. And Todd Leanne SQ from the Black Wolf will be there, and Denise and myself. And we're going to do some ghost hunting and Bigfoot hunting up there. Since we've had several Bigfoot experiences since we've been going up there, we're going to see what we can find when we get the Squatch Man up there. And,
well, we're heading to London that week.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've got to go to the Tower of London to investigate.
Sorry. My wife.
I've got 6th century castles to investigate. Yeah.
I wish. No, actually, you know. So somebody, Ernie,
do you have any gray poupon now?
So Ernie, I don't know if you're familiar with FDL Paranormal. They're from over there and across the pond themselves. If you ever get a chance, you ought to look them up and start talking to them. They got some. They're really big into the, you know, just like we are. They're into respect aspect of it, you know. And Mike, I know you're watching because you just waved and all that, but Mike Lewis is his name, but they're really big into the respect of the paranormal field itself, and they're into helping people and stuff like that. I think, you know, you guys would get along great. Definitely. I mean, they come over here, they said every once in a while, but our goal is we are going to hunt with them one night while we're there. That's our goal. So
that'd be cool. That'd be awesome. Yeah. We talked about this year. We were planning a trip to Europe and maybe going to Scotland, Ireland, you know, England, and try to hit a couple of locations over there while we're there. But then this house came on the market, and it was like, well, no, we got to buy a house. You pass that one up. You know, it's got a historic marker right on the front door. Come on, you can't.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, if you ever do go over there, that'd be a good group to talk. I would recommend talking to. They're good people. Yeah, I think next year that's our goal is to go to Scotland and Ireland. That's our goal is to make it over there. So
Yeah.
do at least one. I want to do one castle before I'm dead. You know what I mean? Just I want to stay in it and sleep over and do whatever.
I want to go to Dracula's castle, to be honest. I want to
Oh,
go
yeah?
to Romania and check that out. But
That would be neat.
yeah.
I don't know
there are
about
these package deals that you can buy for like, I mean, it's not cheap, but it's like $4,500 where you go there and like 3 other, you know, iconic locations around, you know, Europe, England, Romania, you know, that, you know, how it's like going around New England up here. You know, you can go to 5 different states in a day.
Yeah.
You go to 5 different countries in a day over there. But they've got some package deals that are like $4,500 that would, you know, I mean, if you planned ahead for it and made it your vacation, I mean, it would be awesome. It'd be, you know, like a bucket list kind of thing to do. And we've talked about maybe doing that.
Yeah, no, man. If you guys end up doing that, let me know. We might piggyback with you.
All right.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. You still there? Still there, Chris?
Oh, absolutely. I'm just keeping up with everybody's comments here. They're just flooding in on Ernie, and everybody's saying hello, and Transylvania, and I want to go, and
Edinburgh Vaults.
Yes, and so yeah.
Well, I don't know who all these people are, but hey, Ernie, whoever you are, Facebook user. Hey, Facebook user.
Well, for some reason,
the old man was from me. I'm probably the oldest guy on the screen, though. So, hey, other Facebook user.
Well, a lot of those, I remember back with that Paranormal, for some reason, it would show, it won't show their names if they're commenting, but I don't really see any comments on that one. So it's got to be a different program then. Unless it's on Paralinked, people are commenting there. I'm not sure. But
we've got it shared to Pac-Man Paranormal and I don't know, a couple other places here too.
I know Grizz is on quite a few stations.
We're on quite a few.
I don't know nothing about any of that stuff, man. I hate to say it. I'm co-creator of a website.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. You know, yeah, I just my buddy did the the website itself, but it's all way above my head. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm glad Chris knows all this stuff because I would never be able to do this on my own. There's no way I'd even be able to start it. Chris was kind enough to ask me to do this with him. So I said, thank you very much. So we've just been rolling with it since. We've done about 10 shows now, I think, 10 or 12.
Yeah, 10 or 12 or more. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we had some really good guests on, and every week it seems to get even better. It's actually pretty cool. We had Jeff Schlachtler, I pronounced it right, from Warren, the Warren Legacy Foundation. He was on one of these. It was a good one too. He's really, really informative. It's that's pretty cool. So.
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting for Chris. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I'm waiting on Chris to say time to play our break video.
I'm just waiting on you guys. I'm not in no hurry. Y'all doing real good. But ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be right back after this commercial. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Paranormal Plus with Grizzly and Tracy Inman. Hello, Jody. Welcome, Facebook users. And we got Pac-Man Paranormal, Sandro's, FDL Paranormal, and everybody. Interesting. He's not too far from where I'm at. I'm right outside Louisville there. So, yeah, I know exactly where he's at in West Point, Kentucky.
Oh,
Y'all need to check him out. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I see him backstage, Kelly. You'll be next time. Hang tight with me, Kelly.
I know. I was talking to T-Dog, and he's going to come on here in the next couple of weeks too. So
cool.
He's a pretty good guy, man. I know you guys hunt a lot together, but he came up to Alton a couple times, and I hung out with him for a little bit, and then the Sleepless Unrest where we met, he came up there, and him and Ricky, and yeah, just his all around decent guy, you know.
Yeah,
he's really growing in the community too.
He is. He's starting to finally get some of the credit he deserves and the recognition he deserves. I've known him for quite a while. I see what Denise commented there. Ernie's the voice of Pac-Man. I'm the brains. That's my wife.
She's not going to vacation for the paranormal either, she said.
No. Vacation is vacation. We go to Salem every year for vacation, and we don't ghost hunt or anything while we're up there. It's like, come on. But we do a lot of witchy stuff, but we don't ghost hunt.
Yeah.
But I forget where I was going before she jumped in with that comment.
Oh, we were talking about. I think we were talking about
T-Dog. Yeah. I've known him since he was with Things, and they did an event at Waverly. I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, something like that. And that was the first time I met T-Dog, and he's just. I mean, he's like a brother. I mean, he's a good guy. You know, he's never done us wrong, and he supports everybody else in the field. Doesn't have anything bad to say about people. I like the guy.
Yeah, that's what I noticed about him too. So how long have you been doing this, the paranormal?
I really jumped in with both feet. Probably around 97, 98. Something like that.
Oh, wow.
I started a website back in the early days of websites called True Paranormal. And what I would do is I'd have people send me their ghost stories. And if I thought that it was legit, you know, because I'd question them, I'd scrutinize it and everything. And then I'd post it, and we'd talk about it and talk about, you know, and it was just kind of a, you know, you'd post something and then have a chat about it kind of thing. You know, it was like a Facebook page for paranormal back then. And then when I got the chance to go to work at Waverly Hills, the first thing I did up there was work in the haunted house. I mean, I had taken tours up there once Tina and Charlie got it and started doing the tours. I think they started tours in like 2002 or something like that. I'd taken tours and gone on public overnights and things like that up there. And I kept hounding Tina. I was like, you know, if you ever need any help, just say so. And, you know, never got a chance. And then one year she said, well, we need help in the haunted house. I'm like, I'm in. You know, it's a foot in the door. You know, I jumped on it. Like, I'm in.
Yeah.
So I was a zombie cop in the haunted house with a zombie canine cop. And then after the haunted house ended, you know, at the end of Halloween season, I said, well, now what do I do? And she's like, well, that's it. And I said, no, I'm not going in. You know, basically just kept coming up there. And eventually I was a tour guide and then hosted the overnights and did that for a long time. I worked on and off 2 or 3 different stints over the years, or 3 or 4 different stints over the years.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a place that'll always be in my heart. But I mean, I've traveled all over investigating, you know, met a lot of people while I was working at Waverly that were, you know, that had teams and went to different locations, and they would invite me.
Yeah.
Come here with us. And when I could, I did. And So now that Denise and I have our own team, we do that ourselves. We go in.
That's a great way to learn, ain't it? Going with
Yeah.
all those different groups, a lot of diversity in your. Yeah, that's awesome. Now you still have that zombie canine police outfit. Denise makes you wear that sometimes, don't she?
No. No.
Tracy, you did
Come on, Denise,
not
tell the
go
truth. Tell the
there.
truth.
I cannot believe thee.
I see Sandro's asking, what are my personal experiences that made me get into this field?
Yes.
I grew up in a house where we had activity all the time. My grandmother was very spiritual, very much a believer. And I believed her. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's half of having an experience is believing in it to begin with. You know, if you go in thinking, oh, there's no such thing as ghosts, you're probably not going to have any activity, you know. But I don't know. I've had a lot of experiences over the years, and then, you know, I was a bit of a explorer as a kid. I mean, if there was an abandoned building, I was going through it. You know, there was an old mill down past, right by Doe Valley, if you know where I'm talking about, Chris. Remember the old mill that used to be on Doe Run Creek?
Oh, yes.
That was right across from the family farm down there, and we used to go over there all the time and check that old grist mill before it collapsed. And but it was haunted as it could be, and you know, there'd be like 6 kids in there from 9 to 13 years old, and we'd come running out screaming and go back to the family picnic and tell everybody there, you know, that whatever happened, and they'd just think we were a bunch of kids being crazy. And it's like, no, that really happened, you know. So I don't know. I've just always been drawn to it.
So Stanley Stones wants to know, have you ever taken anything home with you?
Yeah. My wife. I got her at Waverly, like I said.
Yeah.
But no, we've definitely had activity that's followed us home. I have, Denise has. We've definitely had that happen over the years, and I think it's possible for any of us, anytime. I mean, we do our best to, you know, wear protection. Denise has made these EAD stones. I don't know if you guys ever heard of those, but they're protection stones.
Hold that back up here. I'm going to blow you up here, and I'm going to waka. There you go.
Boom. Yeah.
Nice.
These stones she made those for protection because we had a bit of a butthole. I'm not going to say malevolent spirit or anything beyond that even, but a guy who was a bit of a butthole in the lobby at Waverly that was affecting a lot of people negatively. And like I said, Denise is a witch, so she whipped up a concoction of various herbs and crystals and brick dust and lots of good protective things, put them in resin, and we all started carrying these, and they work. But still, it can happen. I mean, you can get an attachment or holy water. Yeah, we've got everything that we would need to perform an exorcism except the knowledge and permission from the Vatican. we've got all the utensils.
I do too. Trust me, I sure do.
Yeah, that Sandro said, "Isn't that a Ouija marker?" That's kind of what it looked like to me whenever you held it up.
It's made like a planchette. It's in the shape of a planchette.
That's neat.
Yeah, they're cool and they work. I mean, I can't tell you how many people we would have at Waverly that just would become someone other than themselves, if you know what I'm saying, on an investigation. Yes. We take them outside, have them hang on to this, get them grounded and, you know, centered and all that stuff, and just hold on to the stone, and you just see them come back, you know.
I mean, that's awesome.
It works.
Grizzly power washes his house with holy water.
You do not want to know, ladies and gentlemen. It's a long story. Here we go with the Grizzly jokes.
You know, someone's brought up.
Saying I'm the best guide ever. Tag yourself, daggone it, because you're my best friend, whoever you are.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, I was talking with we had a good article on paralink.com about holy water and a dehumidifier. If it just sits there and just always puts out holy water all the time, is it technically doing its job? It's just a discussion topic. If you guys ever in a group talking about it, I don't know. It was actually pretty cool. We had a couple of cool
like cheating.
Yeah, exactly. It's always blowing out, you know.
I think that just like any protection that we use, be it something like this or crystals or whatever, I think there has to be an intent of purpose, spoken or, at least focused on each time. If you're just sitting there randomly going about your day and expecting a humidifier with holy water in it to protect you while you're not focused on that aspect of things, I don't think it's going to do you much good.
I agree with you. I agree 100% with you.
Absolutely.
Well, is there what do you think, Chris? You said you had another person on there, Amy?
Yeah, whenever Ernie's ready, I'm not in no hurry. Kelly's backstage.
Okay, I don't like to rush people.
Ernie's having a good time. I wouldn't mind hooking up with Ernie down the road too and getting together, especially with Greg Yost.
You guys are close.
I think the world of Greg Yost. So small world. So
yeah, he calls me. He says I'm a world-renowned paranormal investigator on the cutting edge, and he's my best friend. And he's just full of good things to say about me, and I feel the same way about him. And he was here for our family cookout day before yesterday for the holiday. He's just a great guy that everybody needs to know. Greg Yost. That's all I can say. He's one of
I always tell people whatever he says, you can take it to the bank, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely, especially about the forest people. I mean, there's nobody that has a relationship with the forest people like Greg Yost.
That is correct.
I don't know if you heard about his epic encounter where 7 trees got pushed over.
Yes.
That was with me and Denise and our daughter Cora.
Really?
And we witnessed that, and it happened. I mean, that is not a bullshit story. That happened, and it was incredible. I mean, he asked him to, and he was getting ready to move to Washington State, and thought that might be his last time in that particular forest. And so he walked out there to the woods like he does, and he's like, "My friends, I want to see your power. Show me something epic. This might be my last time here with you. Do something epic for me, please. I beg of you." And we're standing there, and I'm looking at him like, this guy is nuts. And then I hear, boom, boom. I mean, 7 trees all around us. I mean, at a safe distance, they weren't threatening or anything like that. But 7 trees got pushed over when he asked them to do something epic. And that was just mind-blowing. I mean, it's life-changing. It's like, okay. Yeah, this guy's got.
He'll make a believer out of you, won't it?
Yeah. So he was talking to Nick Valente, and he was talking to him about Bigfoot and Sasquatch, and Nick was like, "Greg, you got Dogman." And Greg's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, look at your pictures." And Greg had no idea.
Yeah.
So Greg's like, "Oh my god!" That
picture of Dogman that he's got is probably the best Dogman picture you'll ever see, I think.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
So I'm like right smack in the middle where everybody's located. And I'm actually was in law enforcement in Indiana. I moved to Kentucky. I'm actually from Kentucky and moved to Lexington and I'm just moved from Lexington back to right outside Louisville.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so I'm back in town. So I moved my
We
studio.
just
So I'm real
moved
excited.
from Valley Station, right there off East Pages Lane, Timothy Hills neighborhood.
Yeah.
Moved from
See,
there. To
I
this house
lived
here.
off Hinchbrook back in the
I
early
lived
or
at-
late
I
98,
lived at
99.
13416 Hinchbrook Boulevard for a while.
Back in the late 90s.
Yep.
Oh, you had to know me then.
I
Yeah,
might have
that's the
set your shed on fire, to be honest.
Yeah, we had a lot of bottle rocket war. Did you hear a lot of gunshots?
What's that?
Did you hear a lot of gunshots at night?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was
That was me.
Yeah. There was a jerk on the street. I didn't know who it was, but there was.
That was me. Yeah, that is. Hey, every time I got a new pistol at Juniors, I left the VFW post. That was at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I was like, yeah, not wasting on it. No, come on. Open up the side door and call, blam. That was me on Hinchbrook, ladies and gentlemen.
I probably called the cops on you a dozen times.
Oh yeah, they always showed up, and I'm always offering them a beer. Are you shooting? Yeah, it was me. I ain't gonna lie. So, I used to do some crazy stuff back then. Small world, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Sure is.
Then you became a cop, huh?
Yeah, I know, right?
So the good thing about the that fort that you're at, I guess you're able to, most cemeteries you're not allowed to go in after dusk.
Right.
So now that you basically lease it or own it or whatever, you're and you can go in there anytime then.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like you said, 12-hour shifts.
Yeah, you have the place from 7 p.m. until 7 a.m. The park is open to the public during daylight hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, as long as it's daylight, there could be some random person straggling through, but we keep an eye on it. Once it gets dark, if you're not paid to be there, you're not there. If you ever go, you'll see there's a chain at the bottom of the hill that prevents people from getting up to the fort. And I usually park down there right there by that chain and just sit there while the group's up on the hill investigating to make sure that no one, interrupts.
One thing we always ask everybody that's on here, ghost hunting wise, is what's your favorite piece of equipment? What's your go-to? Just you, huh?
I mean, everything that I've gotten my best evidence with is right here. I mean, a good camera, a good audio recorder. That's where you're going to get your best evidence. A REM pod lighting up is cool, and it can give you an indication that you might have some activity.
Yeah.
But it can also give you an indication that someone's keying a two-way radio. I mean, there's so many things that can give a false positive to all of our ghost hunting equipment. Even the SB7, which is, my go-to for that kind of thing. I mean, a lot of times you just get a random radio transmission through there that might happen to fall in line with what you're saying.
Exactly.
But yeah, you can get good evidence with it too. And I mean, hell, we have gotten direct responses that were impossible to say were random using the app Necrophonic. I wasn't a believer in any apps whatsoever, ever. I was like, it's garbage. It says right on there for entertainment purposes only. Well, this doesn't. Necrophonic doesn't say that. If you pay for the real version of it. And we were at Old Stone Jail in Franklin, Kentucky. And there's a story of an inmate who was killed in one of the cells. It's the last cell on the left at the jail. And was back there with Todd and Leanne Eskew and Denise, and I believe Zach Eskew and Haley, his girlfriend, were there. And anyway, I asked, when did this happen to you? We didn't know. And the Necrophonic said February 8th. So I went to Billy Wilkerson of Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Paranormal. He's the one that runs those Stone Jail investigations. And I asked him, I said, does the date February 8th mean anything? He said, I don't know. I said, well, we were back in that cell. And, I told him the story. And he's like, well, let me go look, see what I can find. He comes running back down the hall to me, waving a piece of paper. He's like, you got to see this. I mean, his eyes were this big. And, if you know Billy, it was very animated for him because he's real laid back and calm. But he's like, you got to see this. And we look, it's a newspaper article from Thursday, February 13th, 1956, I think. And it said, this past Saturday night, an inmate was found shot at the Simpson County Jail. So if you go back from Thursday the 13th to that past Saturday night, that was February 8th.
Wow.
We had gotten that date through necrophonic. I mean, clear as a bell. There was no question. And we had, like I say, none of us that were there had any clue that February 8th meant anything.
Yeah.
So,
I
can't deny that anymore. From
well,
I was a believer.
So, and that's proof that you really, when you're investigating, that's why it's called investigating.
Exactly.
You have to. It's not going to. You may, like you said, you think you got something, but then it's you really have to dig into a lot of stuff. And me and Chris have talked about it before, and you're aware you could do a hunt for 12 hours and maybe get 3 things out of it.
Right.
And you look at the video for like Ghost Adventures, whatever, for example, they're probably 3 days on a shoot to get just that half-hour show.
I know,
but they do go back. They do edit
a lot of those productions. I know for a fact a lot of times they're there for a week.
Yeah,
they might get one thing on Monday night, something else on Wednesday night, something else on Thursday night, and then they put the show together. And down in the corner of the screen, it'll say like 1:04 a.m., 2:32 a.m. With each piece of evidence that they show. Well, they don't tell you that there was 3 days between the 1:42 and the 2:38 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I know how that works. I mean, we spend, as ghost hunters, paranormal researchers, whatever you want to call us, we spend more time sitting in the dark with nothing going on than we do getting evidence. And that's what makes it so cool when you do get that piece of evidence. I mean, it's like, it's like, I don't know. I always say it's like hunting or fishing. I mean,
right.
Sit there in a tree stand for hours, freezing your tail off for days, weeks, whatever. And then that big buck finally comes along. It's like, it made it, it'll bring you back next year to do the same thing,
I'm just as guilty as the next person, I would say, as far as following up after the investigation, going through your film, going through everything. We went and stayed at a mansion, the Limp Mansion over in St. Louis. Spent the night in that room where one of them killed themselves, whatever. And I had an old cassette recorder, and I set it in there, press play. It stayed on for an hour. Then I wake up a couple hours later, then I flip it over, press play. And then I started realizing how nice the digital ones are. You can just, when it catches something, you can just press and it'll go to a sound,
Right.
I got halfway through that one side and I'm like, God dang it. And then you put it up. And I'm going to go back in another day and listen to it, and it probably took me 3 weeks to listen to all that,
Right.
But like for us, we found a piece of evidence that we didn't even know existed was, if you ever go to paralink.com, you can look at it. It's at Ashmore Estates, the tricycle moving on its own.
Really?
We asked for an hour up there and everything's lighting up. Everything's going off, going off like crazy. And then it just stopped. And we were doing a Facebook Live, and Tom Scundridge, his daughter, was the one that was videoing us. And she had the phone like this looking at us. We all decided to go to break, and she moved it just like that on the tricycle, not realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we walk out, and Tom sent me the next day. He's like, look at this. And it was a not edit. He went to that spot, and he saw that thing just go backwards. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was a skeptic for certain up until that time. And
that kind of thing will make you a believer.
Yeah. It
Robin was thrilled to see that himself, wasn't he?
Do up.
Robin Terry was probably.
Oh yeah.
Too, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was a good guy.
He's one of the best out there too. I mean,
Yeah. They're we wanted to stay the night. We stayed for a long time. We wanted to stay in that little cabin outside, but we just decided to drive home. But yeah, that's actually a really fun place to hunt too. So
yeah, and it's a good value too. I mean,
that's a really good value for what you get. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we love Ashmore, and I mean, Robin sent us his insurance release, his waiver that he has people sign at Ashmore for us to basically copy and make it our own for Fort Duffield, because Denise asked him, she's like, we've never done this. What do you suggest?
Yeah.
I said, how about I just send you mine and you can just customize it to fit your location. So that's what we did. I mean, he's a good guy.
We went up there another time with Nick Groff and Daniel Kloss. We're having a ghost hunt up there. We went up there and hung out with them. That's pretty cool. Super nice guys.
Yeah.
I message Daniel every once in a while. He always replies, so that's cool.
We'll be seeing them next weekend at the Gettysburg Bash. We're going up there. We're going to have a booth for Fort Duffield, and I don't know if you've seen the lineup for the Bash, but a lot of great folks going to be there. Daggone it, Brian and Rochelle are going to be there. We'll probably have to put up with them. Hopefully Brian doesn't hurt himself.
Oh yeah. They're from my neck of the wood right here.
Yeah. We were in Vegas when he had the famous escalator incident and destroyed his knee. He was trying to run up the steps to get lunch. we had gone down and gotten him lunch, him and Rochelle lunch, and we were coming back up the escalator, and he passed us going down the escalator. He turned around, tried to run back up the escalator, and Brian doesn't have good luck with stairs, and he destroyed his knee on that.
Yeah. Now, you'd think with being so close and in the vicinity of each other, I probably met him twice.
Really?
And now I saw Rochelle at the DMV one time, a couple of years ago, and talked to her. It actually was like a week after that Sleepless Unrest thing at the Wildie, and they're both super nice people.
They are. They're awesome, and they're a riot too. I mean, you guys need to have them on the show sometime. They are.
That's going to reach out to them here as we continue to pursue this endeavor.
Yeah, they're a blast. I mean, they play off each other so well.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. That is good. That's a good deal.
But Sandra wants to know, what do you guys think about seeing big orbs?
Well, if you see it with your eyeballs, I think you might actually have some activity. We saw one night before last at the fort. Denise, myself, and Squatchman saw one. So much of the video and photographic evidence of orbs out there can so easily be debunked. If you spend any time at all watching IR footage or know anything at all about photography, most of the time, 99.5% of the orbs I've seen posted as evidence, from photos or video, I can sit there and say, that's a bug, that's a cobweb, that is moisture, that's a lens flare. Because I've spent countless hours sitting watching IR cameras doing security at Waverly Hills, and I see all that stuff on all these cameras constantly. And you figure out what it is eventually, because you'll see at Waverly, you're at Waverly Hills, you see something that looks like an orb, you're like, oh my gosh, I think I got something on camera. And then you look a little closer, you might even go up and look at the camera, and you see this little cobweb just kind of dangling back and forth. Oh, that's what it was.
I've only seen a few. My brother's old house, I'm telling you, and this only a couple of years ago, he caught on film, and there was probably about 5 of them, and they were different colors and bouncing back and forth, and just not bounce, but sling, change direction, come back, change, and it's so quick. It couldn't have been dust. And then, so I'm confident that those were. Now that's just my eyeballs, right? My opinion. Mm-hmm. But I did, and I talked to Grizzly about this before. On one of our last hunts, we did have an orb. You can see it come from the top of the room, and it's in a 1800s mansion. It's original furniture, and there's this hutch there that or shifter robe that you had to really pull to open it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we tested it before we did anything there, and you can see this orb. It's on our infrared camera in there, and it just flies right down to that handle. And as soon as it hits that handle, that door opens, just creaks open. You know what I mean? And I can't explain it not being something.
Yeah, that's
because I so much want it to not be something, but
right.
it is. It's obvious. It had to be something. So
yeah,
I tried to debunk it every way I could.
What I always tell people, and I'm not an expert by any means. Okay, I'm just somebody that's done this stuff for a long time, and I've scrutinized everything that I've done over the years, and I've scrutinized other people. I've been taught by other people. I've learned from other people. But as far as I'm concerned, if an orb is spirit energy, the ones I've seen, and I have seen some, I've seen them at Waverly, I've seen them at other haunted locations. Saw one, like I said, just the other night at the fort. They emanate light. I mean, they will light up the area around them. You know,
Yep.
You'll see light on the wall, or like this. If they go by a wall, it'll light up the wall as it goes by. And if you just see a ball of light in a dark room, it should light something up if it's a ball of light. Otherwise, It's something that the IR is picking up, dust that's being pushed by forced air or whatever, And I mean, that's my opinion. I could be wrong, but I don't know.
I've had people send me pictures of an orb up close, and you can see the face. You ever see a face in an orb?
People always say that, and I just don't. I don't know. I don't necessarily buy into that, to be honest. I mean,
if somebody tells you it's a face, you're going to think face, right?
Then that's when pareidolia kicks in.
Exactly.
It's like, oh yeah, there's two dark spots. When I blow it up 1,000% and it starts pixelating, there's two dark spots where they could be eyes, and it looks like a chin. So yeah, there's a face. I think you can trick yourself into thinking that.
Agree.
Denise is asking if I showed the video from the house. Have you seen that, Tracy?
I don't believe I have. Not gonna lie.
Denise, if you could send that to Tracy or somebody while we're on here, they might be able to bring it up on screen. I don't know.
I'd send it to Grizzly because I would totally. I'd probably erase us.
I understand. I don't know how I could share it with you guys, or I would, but
down at the bottom, just hit present, and just whatever screen you're on, and just share it. That's all. Either or I could share it. No big deal.
Well, give me just a second here. Let me see if I can. I might. I hope I don't screw up here, but hang on.
Denise's dad drove the F-150, correct?
What's that?
Denise's dad that lived on Hinchbrook, didn't she? Her dad drove the F-150?
No, that was my ex-wife.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my ex-father-in-law, Woody.
I live 2 houses down from you. I was at 19. I lived on the corner.
Yeah, I was the last house from the corner on the opposite side of the street from you.
Yes, yeah. I remember.
Small world.
I was crazy back then, but those were the old days.
I can't figure out how to get to it on here without losing myself. So
yeah, I'll just send it to Grizzly Chris on Facebook Messenger, Grizzly Chris, and I'll pop it right up.
I got to find it. Hang on. Let's see. I know I've got it on Facebook. Let's see. Hang on. Let's do. I'm gaining on it. Here we go.
I'll pull up my Facebook account real quick.
Hang on.
I'm the good wife.
That's what she says.
Yeah.
Well, I have found it. Now I just got to figure out how to send it to you.
There's several Grizzly Chris's.
Yeah. Yeah, hang on. It's trying to open here so that I can maybe do something with it. I'll tell you what you could do that might make it easier and keep me from looking crazy while I'm looking all over the screen trying to, because I got this huge monitor. Can you go to the Real Ditto House Inn, 1841 Facebook page, and then look for videos, and you'll see a video that's just got a door on it. And it's like a doorway. Do you see that?
I'm going back to my Facebook right now.
Okay.
It's got a doorway in it, huh?
Yeah.
I see a preservation one.
See, Real Pac-Man Paranormal is asking me to join.
Oh, 3 hours after we got the keys to our new house?
Yeah, that's it. There you go.
I'm going to send this to you, Chris.
Okay.
Oh, Lord. I just got a leg cramp.
I just shared it with you. Let's send it to both. Oh, I sent it to both your, it's on your page and it's on coming to your messenger.
I got it.
All right, cool.
It's about a 40-second video. I'll give you a little intro to it. Like 3 hours after we got the keys to the house, I was the only one here. Denise was in Indianapolis working. And I was downstairs walking into the kitchen and I heard a door close. And I knew I was the only one here. So I walked back into the room where the door had closed, found the door, walked over to it, swung it back and forth, tried to figure out why it might have closed, couldn't find a reason. So I stepped back and went into ghost hunter mode, started the video. So here you go. Have you got the sound on?
Yes. Okay. Oh, I could hit the button. There we go.
There you go. All the way. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gone.
How's that?
I'm out.
Yeah.
So were you actually videoing that, or did you have a camera there that was just?
I stepped back and got my phone out, hit record, and I just sat there and was
Can you
watching.
close that door again, please?
Happening. And I said, "Can you close this door, please? This one right here in front of me." And then you see it starts to move.
Yep.
There you go.
And I said, "All the way."
All the way.
And then it goes the rest of the way.
Thank you.
I mean,
No, I'm gone.
that was good stuff. I mean, I was like, yes. I sent that to Denise immediately, and she's like, oh, my God.
Your next question ought to be, could you bring me $1 million?
Yeah, really. Really.
Who's obedient?
Really. That was pretty cool.
No, that is awesome, man. That's great. That's good to get the evidence, you know. It keeps people believing, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And, you know, I mean, I wasn't ghost hunting. Like I said, I was just trying to clean the house up and get it ready for when she got home from Indianapolis, you know.
So what did you notice something before that made you want to do that?
Well, like I said, the door had closed, and you know, when I was just walking by,
that's right.
I walked through that room into the kitchen, and I heard the door close after I got into the kitchen. So I walked back around the corner and looked.
Yep.
saw what door it was. So I opened it back up. I swung it back and forth. I looked around. I was like, well, there ain't no reason for this to close. So
yeah, and that's a pretty forceful close. It's not like it's just out of level and came in.
Yeah, and like I say, it starts going, and then it almost stops. And I said, all the way, please. And then you see it just pick up speed and go the rest of the way and close.
No, that's cool. That's good evidence, man.
Yeah,
That was real good.
Yeah, like Denise said, she has a Civil War boyfriend. She has a Union soldier that likes to play with her hair, and she's caught some audio of him and different things. And it happens a lot. I've seen him manifest as a full-bodied apparition behind her one time. And this place is, I mean, like I say, if you Google the Ditto House Inn, it says it's the most haunted house in Kentucky. And we live there. We own it.
No, that's awesome that you guys did that and you believe, because could you imagine being somewhere that never didn't know anything about anything like that and getting in there? I'd be scared.
Yeah.
Crapless and move right out like the poltergeist or something.
Yeah, exactly. They wouldn't stay long. Because there's stuff that happens constantly. I mean, we got a door in our room that keeps opening. We'll close it at night. I mean, latch it closed. It's closed. Yeah. Wake up the next morning and it's open. It's a door that goes into a smaller room, which was a nursery back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And that door keeps opening to the nursery. But there's just always something going on. But
I grew up in my uncle's house was right across the street from a Confederate cemetery. Mm-hmm. And my great aunt had lived in that house before him, and she passed away, but she hung out a lot in the basement. And we used to stay the night there, and I'm talking in my teenage years, so it ain't just a ghost story when I was a little kid, You could hear at night after like 10 o'clock till about 2 a.m, somebody pacing up and down those steps. And we'd put the little bullet lock on it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you could hear that door just yanking just a little bit, someone trying to open it. And you're like, whoa. Yeah. I stayed there like twice when that happened, like 3 months apart. After that, I didn't really stay there anymore. I was like, I'll see you guys at family reunion. That'd be about it.
Right.
That's funny.
I like it though. I mean, when my brother was saying a couple of years ago he was convinced the house he was living in was haunted. I was like, okay, well, I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm drawn to it.
Like I said, my brother, when he where we saw those orbs, he caught them on camera. We went up there, we hunted probably 3 times, and it was good stuff. Nothing 100% saying that it was haunted. I couldn't say anything like that, or if there was a spirit there or anything. But we did hear a laughter that we couldn't explain. We had it on our. You can go back on the live, and you could hear it laughing as we were walking down the stairs, right where the woman died years ago, and there was no houses really close enough by to where you could hear anything like that. And it was like a fainted laugh. It was kind of weird. We did get it on video, but there's, like I said, I've hunted for about 5 years now, and maybe got 5-7 things that I can't debunk.
Right. Yeah. And that's us. I mean, we don't post a lot of evidence. People, they see our page, they see we have this really active Facebook group and Facebook page, and then we got these other groups. We got the Fort Duffield group, we had the Save Waverly Hills group when that was going on, and they hardly ever see any evidence from us. And we're like, well, you don't get evidence all the time for what?
Exactly.
Unless it's something really cool that we can't debunk ourselves. We're not going to put it out there to have everybody in the freaking world saying, "Oh, it's just dust," or "It's just that," or it's fake, or whatever. I mean, even that door video, I posted that, and somebody's like, "Fake." I'm like, I know. First off, I feel like that's a personal attack, because I have worked hard to build a reputation as someone who is completely legit and tries to get to the bottom of everything. Every story that I hear about the paranormal or whatever.
Yeah.
And when someone says fake, and I'm the one that shot the dang video and knows that I'm the only one that was in the house, and that just happened exactly the way you see it on the video, it's like, come down here and say that to my face, you know?
No, I agree, man. I agree. It can be a personal attack on you too. They don't know you enough to even say that.
Right.
And unfortunately, that's kind of the way it is nowadays with everything. So, you know, everybody has their opinions.
And so opinionated, like you said.
Yep. And it's a social media world now that, you know, thank God for that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this. It does a lot of good. Just my personal opinion, does a lot of good, but it also does a lot of bad. Now everybody's able to influence other people in ways they never were before, and that can be harmful.
Yep.
So I just try to keep my opinions to myself on anything other than paranormal, you know, and music. So
yeah. I mean, I've got very strong political beliefs, which are the opposite of my wife. So we don't talk about politics. You're right, Lauren. I feel that way too.
Yep.
Either that, or they're just someone who's scared of the paranormal and in total denial of it because of that.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean, it used to make some people mad at Waverly. You know, when I would have a group up there and, you know, somebody points at, there's the skeptic of the group or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's the one who's afraid of the paranormal. You know, I mean, that's how I see most skeptics. You're afraid to admit that it's real because it happens every day all around us. If you just open your eyes to it and admit it, it's there.
Exactly. Open their mind. They would understand that there is something out there, you know.
Yep. I'd hate to think that there wasn't, to be honest.
Well, yeah. And it's been around forever.
Yeah.
I mean, think about when you were a kid growing up, there's ghost stories that have been around forever, right? And I guarantee witches did exist, you know, they did cast spells. They still do, you know. Grizzly and I were talking with someone about that a couple weeks ago, about everything.
Spell on me, and that's why we're married now. I mean,
yeah. Mine's not even a witch, and I'm the same thing. You know?
But, no, it's well, I mean, you know, people talk about it like, well, I'm a Christian, I don't believe in that. It's like, have you read the Bible?
Yeah.
Because what was the disciples' first question to Jesus when he rose from the dead? Father, is that you, or are you a ghost?
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
You know? And his response was, it is me. If I were a ghost, you wouldn't see me. And, you know, I mean, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not a biblical scholar or anything, but I know that that's basically the passage. I mean, it's how does being religious preclude you from believing in the paranormal? I just don't understand that.
Yeah, when I first started, I was kind of the same way. You know, I for myself not recognizing the Bible as much as I should, like you just even stated, but believe in my beliefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that my beliefs wouldn't keep me from doing what I'm doing right here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, I had some people reach out to me, hey, you can't do that. You can't do that. And I'm like, hey, I'm just trying to prove right or wrong, prove if it's real or not. You know, that was basically what my response would be. I'm just investigating, seeing if it's real or not, you know, trying to debunk it. Do that. You know, I was a hard skeptic right at the beginning, big time.
And that's healthy to come into it with that perspective to start with, I think. I mean, I've seen so many people. I used to say on tours at Waverly, I said, you know, we have a lot of skeptics come to Waverly. Very few leave. And, you know, it's not because we keep them. It's because when they leave, they're not a skeptic anymore. And it's healthy to come into it, though, with a skeptical, you know, attitude to a certain extent, as long as you're just not closed-minded to the possibilities that what you experience or see might or might not be paranormal.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. Do you have you met many have you met many psychics? that you firmly believe throughout this time, your time?
Yes. Yeah. I've had, very lucky working at Waverly, for one, that, a lot of the biggest names in the field go through that building. And a lot of folks that you'll never hear of, that you've never heard of, go through that building. And I met a lot of great investigators, great psychics in my time at Waverly. In our para family, I've got some really talented and gifted psychics. Beth Allen is one of the best. The Wicked Woman, Beth, if you all know who she is. She's one of the best out there. She's a sister, and talk to her all the time. And I mean, she has been incredible. I'm not going to go down the list and start naming names. Beth being my sister, I will single her out because yes, she's very good. But there's a lot of competition in that field too, where
there's a lot of people in it.
Good psychics.
Yeah.
Themselves, they don't want anyone else to be recognized as a good psychic, so they're like, oh, they're fake, or they're not that good, or whatever, and it's like, okay, well, you don't have to have that competition. Just it is. I
know Grizzly knows a lot of people with the psychic abilities too. So, look like you knew who he was talking about, didn't you, Grizz?
Yeah, I do a paranormal true crime shows on Friday, and I cover missing persons and cold cases and murder cases that are unsolved. And the following week, I go to my panel of psychics that are around the world. They're well known, and I just give them a picture of the person, and I bring them back on the show the following week, and they give us what they get from however they get their information, and they divulge information about the case, and the police departments, the FBI or whatever agency can use the information, or the family uses it to hopefully retrieve the remains or whatnot to help solve the case and so forth. So it comes in very handy.
Yeah.
So, but what really drives me nuts, Ernie, is that they're so close to me. They'll be like, Grizzly, are you okay? You need a hug? I'm like, I hate when y'all do that.
Yeah. Don't read me, read the picture.
Yeah, there we go. See, there goes the cat ball. I know, right? But they'll call me out of the blue, and they'll be like, and then they'll call me like, hey, I got to tell you something. Your family members drive me nuts, and I got to tell you this message. And they'll be like, who'd you just walk by? And I was like, my mom's over. Put her on the phone. I got a message. I'm like, here, Mom. Who is it? Just take the phone call. Don't ask. Just take the call. So, yeah, it's very interesting. Never a dull moment. So,
right.
Absolutely. So I know exactly what you're talking about. So, yeah. But it's very interesting. I'm glad you had an opportunity to finally meet you in person after all these years later. I aggravated the fire out of you. I do apologize about that. But that was my younger, dumber days. But yeah,
it's all good. It's all good. I'm glad to know you're in the neighborhood. You got to come down to the fort. And check it
absolutely.
Out.
Yeah, I'll be more than happy to. That'd be awesome.
Shoot me a message and let me know when you're going to be in the area, and we'll go up there and take a look around, and then you can book it. Or come to our
that'd be awesome.
with Squatchman, August 5th.
Yeah, I may end up doing that. Yeah, that'd be awesome. It really would be. And how does everybody get a hold of you and stuff, and reach your websites and your Facebook groups?
You can find me directly, Ernie Pack, on Facebook. I'm pretty easy to find, and I'll accept most friend requests unless you look like you're a complete lunatic. We've got a Facebook group called Hauntings of Fort Duffield, just like on the screen. We've got one called Pac-Man Paranormal. We've got a Facebook page called Pac-Man Paranormal. And you can find me through any of those places, and just shoot me a message. Send me a PM, and I'll respond as soon as I can. And we'll talk about whatever it is you want to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. And
awesome.
Throughout the last couple of years, Ernie's, whenever I've ever sent him a message on Messenger or anything like that, he's always got back to me. Stand-up person, both him and his wife, and they got a great thing going, and glad that we had him on.
I am too. I am too. Ladies and gentlemen, check them out. Pac-Man Paranormal. When you're in Louisville, around Louisville, West Point, make sure and stop in and make an appointment. And I'm telling you, it's really worthwhile in West Point. You actually, ladies and gentlemen, if you go down Dixie Highway, you're going to go right through it. You blink an eye and watch the speed limit because you will get a ticket. They sit. I know they still sit there. I know that has not changed. So, but yes.
I don't know.
But
I know
yeah.
the mayor. I know things about this town.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Buckle up. I'll tell you that much. They're writing a lot
Yeah.
of tickets for seatbelts right now.
At that time of year. Yes, sir. But I greatly appreciate you coming on, and I really enjoyed it, Ernie. Thank you so much.
I'd be glad to come back anytime. Y'all just say the word.
Oh, it's
Thank you.
it's all doors always open from coast to coast and around the world, ladies and gentlemen. That's a wrap. Until next time, take care and Godspeed. See everybody.
See ya.
Bye bye.